So we're going to have analysis of the Senate confirmation hearing for Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch in a moment. I know, you can hardly wait, right? It reminds me of Tom Bergeron from Dancing with the Stars.
Isn't it funny?
Slightly less exciting. All right. Meanwhile, the White House announced a ban on electronic devices larger than cell phones on planes coming from 8 Muslim-rich countries. I know, 8 Muslim-rich countries. So where's the outrage here? True, this ban actually targets machines and not men, but these devices are carried by people from Muslim-rich countries. Yet no outcry. The gist, politically, we can't stop terrorists, only their gadgets. But at some point, the bombs inside these gadgets will exceed our ability to detect them. Nano weapons, mini bombs, and tiny robots will soon be bigger threats than the conventional stuff. And good luck tracking those. But the device ban reveals an obvious truth. The threat comes from radical Muslims and therefore more likely to come from Muslim-rich countries. Is it bigoted to say that? No, it's what scientists call a duh. It's not about religion, but of ends. Not all people who follow a doctrine pose a danger, but the truly dangerous have twisted that doctrine to their evil ends. If you're looking for evil members of X, go to where all of X happens to be first. So what's the difference between this gadget ban and the previous executive order? Well, the gadget ban targets places with infrastructure. If the travel ban countries weren't so lawless, they'd probably be on this list too. So show of hands, critics of such bans. If there were an airline that rejected all such measures against terror, would you take that airline? Yeah, I didn't think so. So, Kimberly, I want to point out this.
Get me involved again.
Yes. Well, we're going to get to Gorsuch in a minute because it's I can't get enough of the guy.
Okay.
He does remind me of Tom Bergeron.
That's a good comparison.
Thank you, Dana. All right.
You're welcome.
Critics of the travel ban, they're kind of fine with the device ban, but isn't the device ban kind of a cloak? It really is. It's the same thing. We're just saying we're not going to talk about the people. We're going to talk about what they carry.
Right. So, look, it makes sense. It's saying on inbound U.S. flights. But, yeah, people are actually having a little problem with saying, oh, wait a second, this is okay, and then Britain is going to do it too, but the travel ban isn't. But notice it's in courts that are opposing it that are definitely more like pro-Democrat, liberals, Obama ideology. It makes sense to me when you see it down partisan lines. But I get it. They must have intel that is specific to put this in place.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not just us. Britain, they're just like us.
Yeah.
They're saying that they want to do this as well. So that tells me that there's credible threats, that information has been shared collectively with our intelligence agencies, which I think is a good thing, which suggests the seriousness of it. So, I mean, fine by me.
Yeah.
Wait to watch the kids' videos. That's the complaint. That now what do you do with kids on long flights? It decreases business productivity. They quoted a guy from San Francisco, Saeed Hussein, who was very upset about this, who travels back and forth to the UAE.
Well, I feel very badly for him, Eric.
This reminds me of what is it, 15 years ago now, we're still taking off our shoes because someone tried to light his shoe on fire to blow the place up.
Right.
The travel ban strikes me not as because I don't know that there's a credible threat that people are saying we're going to bring an iPad on the phone and blow on the plane and blow the plane up versus a telephone. I mean, this is way smarter than, or at least as smart as an iPad. What it strikes me is these airports in these countries of origin aren't as secure at the entry level as you're boarding the plane. They're not checking you. But your point is so well taken, Greg, and I'm trying to get up to speed on it. I'm studying a lot on artificial intelligence. They now have, as you point out, nano drones the size of mosquitoes that they think can deliver fatal blows and then sometimes even bombs at some point going forward. So you're right. It won't matter where the country of origin, because there's no TSA in the world that's going to be able to find a mosquito-sized drone in someone's pocket.
It freaks me out. It really does scare me. Dana, do you think there's another conspiracy behind this? You read something today that said this might have something to do with...
Well...
Do you want me not to?
No, I'll say the article that I read. So,
it didn't come from us.
I didn't say that. This is not my viewpoint, okay? But Megan McArdle, who is a wonderful columnist who I trust, and she's super smart, she pointed to an article that was, I think, in the Washington Post that was citing the Financial Times, okay? So you have some credible people here, saying that some people in these countries that are a part of the governments of the countries have been worried that the United States might retaliate against them because they heavily subsidize their airlines. And business travel is very attractive. And in this case, with this ban of devices, you're actually hurting a lot of people. The effect is actually on business travels, a lot of them from the West who travel overseas in order to do business. So this is actually affecting a lot more people than the actual travel ban itself. The suggestion being that the United States and I guess Britain, that's where the theory breaks down for me, have wanted to say to these governments, they have a problem on these airlines, you should fly ours instead. I'm not exactly, I don't think it's accurate, but it was just something that was out there.
Use the original tablet, America. You don't need the, this is what I use.
The best thing will be, like anyone who has a book
out there. It's got
out
flowers.
there.
Yes.
I think mine's in paperback.
You really do travel with that.
I do.
You travel that, you take off your stinky socks, you look at your weird toes that are like deformed and have bruises, then you write like beautiful mind on there, and then you take the pill.
I can't believe I have to defend my toes on national television. Juan, what do you make of this travel ban? As a liberal, you're probably against it.
No, I wonder about the effectiveness of it. I'm always for anything that's going to make us safer.
Right.
But the question is, why does it only apply to foreign airlines, not to U.S. airlines that are going back and forth?
That's why that article.
And so there are no U.S. airlines that originated in these airports.
No, but they fly there. So,
but the concern is any airline, and that's why they pointed out these airlines, the ones that originate in these airports that they find insecure or less than secure.
Well, that's not the case either.
That come directly to
No, that's not the case, because in a number of these places, U.S. authorities are there on the ground and do the checks on travelers.
For these 10 airports.
Let me just finish for a second. Give me a chance.
Sure.
I just wanted to pick up on what Dana was saying, that a lot of people are saying that it may have to do with the subsidies for these particular airlines coming out of these Arab countries. Three countries.
There are
more than three, but there are three big airlines
identifying
that get
a threat.
subsidies. And that's different. I'm changing the subject in the way that Dana did, just to say to you, there may be something else going on here, that we're punishing these airlines that subsidize.
But then why would Britain do it too?
President Trump, who says he's going to support American business, maybe in fact here supporting American business.
But why then would Britain do it too? That's where I think that breaks down.
I think Britain has the same problems with their airlines saying, hey, why is it that the Arab countries subsidize unfair competition for their airlines? But here's the bigger point for you, Greg. I think that when I look at it, I'm saying, is this really going to make me and my family safer, right?
Yeah.
And I think the underwear bomber, he wasn't traveling from the Arab world. He was coming from Amsterdam. The shoe bomber coming from Paris. 9/11 bombers come from Germany. So that plus what you said about, or maybe Eric said about phones. Cell phones can trigger explosions. They have just as much capacity in terms of electronics as tablets. So I'm thinking, okay, so maybe you heard something. And in fact, Democrats like Adam Schiff, who's head of the House Intelligence, said he was briefed over the weekend by General Kelly, who's head of Homeland Security, and he said, you know what, it's sufficient in terms of the presentation made by the Trump administration to justify this action.
So what does that tell you?
But for me on the outside, I'm just thinking, well, wait a second, I heard what Eric said. I'm thinking the previous bad guys didn't come from the Arab country. What is going on here?
Well,
I don't know. From what you said, I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I can't either.
But when you have Adam Schiff saying this, and he's leading Democrat in that committee, telling you, hey, this is good, we're not going to complain about it, this is credible, there's substance to it, that's what I'm saying. This is based on gathered and captured intelligence, and some of it they're saying is from the SEAL raid in Yemen, that they were able to get this information. Hey, if it's good enough for the Democrats and your crew, I'm going to say that they're not objecting for a reason. Let's just go with it.
I think everybody's so easily attacked if you say anything critical about
It's not that. They haven't
national
all of a
security.
sudden
No, but Juan, it's allowing people like Schiff the way out, focusing on behavior, not who you are. So it's still people coming from Muslim-rich nations, but you're not saying people, you're saying iPhones and or iPads.
I don't even think it's that. I really think it is the lack of security at these 10 airports. And the only airlines that fly from those 10 airports to the United States mainland direct, without stopping somewhere else, are the ones that are required now to have this ban. But I agree with you that the ban is ridiculous. I mean, because this iPhone is far more powerful.
I'm surprised that the Emirates would be on that list then.
With who?
The Emirates would be on that list.
The concern is that they've developed a liquid explosive, and the top bomb maker that's in Yemen, al-Asiri, who's been training the al-Qaeda bomb makers, has been working on this compound for the past 5 years. And so perhaps it's something that needs to be in a larger contained, something larger than this. Therefore, the need for a larger electronic device to transport.
And also, if it's underneath, it's safer, right? If the if an explosion happens under
No,
in the
no,
underbelly.
no.
That's what I was told.
I don't think. I
Yeah.
think if you have a, in fact, they were talking about the Samsungs with the lithium batteries that blow up. That you don't
Can't even
want.
put that on a plane anymore.
Yo, but you could put it in your luggage. In other words, the bad guys, and that's not great either. So.
I'm being told that we must go.
That was great.